without the Cowboys zinging somebody to some big money. I mean, right? This is the MO of Jerry Jones. This is what Steven is it Steven Jones? Yeah. Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
I think either way, the folks know who we're getting to here. So Trevon Diggs signs a 5-year, $97 million extension with the Dallas Cowboys. It ties him for 5th among highest paid corners with $19.4 million a year. You got Marshawn Lattimore, Jair Alexander, Denzel Ward, Jalen Ramsey, and Marlon Humphrey's salaries that he's roughly hovering around. Of course, all those players I just mentioned do have higher salaries. So seeing where they put him as 5th among highest paid corners, and this isn't a shock because, like, at one point a few years ago, Dallas had, like, Dak as a highest paid quarterback, Zeke as a highest paid running back, and I think a couple of linemen. And
Zach
with
Martin.
where they were paid, it didn't really match up to their performance on the field. So do you feel like Dallas paid Trevon Diggs here fairly? I always think you pay a lockdown corner, but is he a lockdown to you? Do you think they paid him fairly?
I mean, there's one thing about him. He's a ball hawk. He's a ball hawk. He gets those turnovers, and he's a big reason why Dallas will win the turnover battle a lot of times.
Yeah.
You know, and I get that he's not necessarily like a glove. You know, he's not like Revis Island. He's not gonna, you know, cover up a guy and hold him to like 20 yards and 3 catches, right?
Right.
But when you have a ball hawk like that it doesn't really matter how many yards you give up. You know, if you can get the turnover, odds are you're going to win the game if you win a turnover battle, right?
100%.
So, you know, 5th highest paid corner, I would say that's pretty fair. I would say he's probably up there. If he's not top 5, he's pretty darn close to top 5 in the league, right?
Yeah.
So, and another thing about cornerback contracts and the cornerback market that I've noticed in the past few years is that a lot of people are concerned of teams overpaying for cornerbacks.
Yeah.
But what I like to mention, and the only reason that I have said this before is because I had to defend the Browns when they signed Denzel Ward to that contract that you mentioned.
Yeah.
Was when quarterbacks' contracts are going through the roof, right? You see some positions are taking extreme hits, right?
Yep.
Defensive tackles, because they play a big role in the run game, and running backs, as we all know, are taking a huge hit in terms of their contract. But other contracts are going up. Wide receiver market's going through the roof. Why?
Crazy.
Because they catch the passes from the guy making $260 million a year. Now, what does that mean on the other side of the ball? Edge rushers up because they hit the dudes that make a lot of money, right?
Yep.
And cornerbacks also go all the way up because they stop the receivers who are making money because the quarterbacks are making a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right.
I love how you connected that, bro.
Exactly,
that was perfect.
Right. It's the order of operations, right?
Yeah.
So the quarterback market's skyrocketing. Then the receiver market goes up. Now what happens? The defensive side of the ball gets their money now. So no, Trevon Diggs didn't get overpaid here. Dallas made a pretty good deal for a guy who is close to a top 5 corner in the league. He creates a lot of turnovers for that defense. And I think it will be a good investment for them long-term.
Yeah, I think it's a great investment long-term too. This is one of probably my, I guess, more favorable Cowboy signings of the last few years, like 17 interceptions in 3 years. Now let's make a disclaimer. He did have, I think those, was it 11? Yes, he had 11 in that second year, 3 in his rookies. Is that correct? 3 in his rookie season, 3 in last season. But I know he's had 17 total picks. So he's essentially averaging, 6 picks a year, which is pretty remarkable, especially in today's league with how pass heavy it is. For them to pay a position that is, him being a lockdown corner, him playing that position to defend the wide receiver, of course, catching the patches from the quarterback. I love how you put that together. I wish I could have stole that take from you, bro, and spit it out. That was really nice how you strung that along. But no, this was one of my more, favorable signings from them because we knew it had to be done. Like, of course, when Dak got paid, yes, but I think Dak got paid far too much considering what had happened. But then again, like, you have to pay your quarterbacks. I kind of like how we were just talking with Justin Herbert and some of the other guys that have got paid. I do think he was paid fairly, and it is good to have a long-term corner locked up for a while, especially, yes, the NFC is weaker, but you're going to play plenty of AFC teams. You're going to play plenty of pass-happy teams. I mean, that's how the league is now today. And it was a smart move locking him up. You don't want a guy like that to, possibly have to hit the market. And I didn't think he was going to go anywhere. Trevon Diggs was like, I love being in Dallas. I'm confident we can get something done. And boom, they do, making just shy of 20 a year. And I mean, you look at Marshawn Lattimore, who makes 21 million a year, your guy Denzel Ward, who makes 20.1, Jalen Ramsey. Big shocker from him. He's going to miss the start of the season with the Dolphins. That'll probably be on the next show. Jalen Ramsey's making 20 million a year. And then Marlon Humphrey right at 19.5. So I'd probably say outside of Marshawn, Jair, and maybe even Jalen Ramsey, I mean, he can compete with all those guys. He can definitely be one of those corners that gets his respect in the league. So now that Dallas has a, pretty, it was a required extension. They didn't want to let Trevon Diggs get away. Who do you think gets paid next for Dallas?
Is CeeDee Lamb up for an extension?
He is. He's under contract, I think, for the tag of just shy of 18 million through 24. Or they picked up his 5th-year option, excuse me.
Okay.
They picked up his 5th year for 18 million.
It will be him.
Yeah.
He's their star wide receiver. He's earned that respect to be a number 1 receiver in this league.
Yep.
And they need him because they kind of put their eggs all in one basket with CeeDee Lamb to be that guy when they traded away Amari Cooper to the Browns, right? That was them basically saying,
for a
okay,
pack of chips.
Yeah, right. That was an absolute steal. And now Amari Cooper is still great, thank goodness.
He had a quiet, great season for you guys last year, too. I think
With
Amari Cooper's going
to be very mediocre quarterback play.
I'm saying, bro, I believe in the Deshaun Watson era, bro. I don't want to get too excited for you, but damn.
But it'll be him. And it's, again, the receiver market's high. There's a high demand for receivers, especially ever since, a big reason why the receiver market became huge was, I believe, because of Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase gets selected, I believe, 5th overall, right, to the Cincinnati Bengals?
Yeah.
And immediately that offense is one of the best offenses in the entire NFL.
Right.
And yes, T. Higgins is great. And Tyler Boyd is great. They have a great receiving core all around.
Yep.
But when Jamar Chase came in and Joe Burrow and him had that connection, teams took notice of that. And they said, okay, if we can have like a bread and butter combo between our quarterback and our best wide receiver, that's priceless. And they'll pay tons of money to do that. So if CeeDee Lamb and Dak have that kind of connection, especially if they do again this year, he'll get that money. Yeah,
definitely think CeeDee is next as well. And you look at his numbers, how they've went up every year. He's really stepped into that wide receiver 1 role. And I feel like that's why, the Cowboys were willing to give away Amari Cooper for literally a pack of chips and a Slim Jim to the Cleveland Browns, because CD was literally stepping up and being able to, haul. Actually just got Brandon Cooks. He's been traded so many damn times. So there's, been a couple of other wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 options out there that CD has been able to stay ahead of. So it was, maybe kind of an easier decision for them to ship him out. But another guy that's going to have a contract coming up too is Micah Parsons. I think he could be one of the highest paid defensive players we'll ever see, because of the way that Dallas uses him. Defensive players, when you can get a stud like Micah Parsons, when you can just get an athlete like Micah Parsons on the defensive side of the ball that can come off the edge, that can cover, that can be in the linebacking, maybe any part of the front 7 if he gets talented enough, I do think CD will get paid before him, because I want to say after 2024, I believe, is when Micah Parsons will be up for an extension. But I know they'll pay him handsomely. If they just paid him in any way that they just paid Trevon Diggs, they'll probably aim to make him the highest paid